built a little chicken coop last year. We ended up getting some chickens. I was going to have them all free ranging around this garden and it was going to be good. But you see, we lost a heap of those little chickens to the amount of predators we got here. And quite a shame, a lot of people's pet cats. So we ended up getting rid of them. What I was left with was basically a structure. I didn't really know what to do with it, seeing we didn't have chickens in it anymore. So, what we're left with is this. I already had a bit of an attack on it last night. I've taken a lot of the wire off, and this was all coated in shade cloth and protected from the afternoon sun. It comes out in the west that way. But what I want to do is I want to extend this garden up through it and have it run and meet that little path I've got out there. So what I've got to do is I've got to rip up all of this weed mat here, get my little tiller, rip up a heap of this dirt and pull it back and fill this garden area. Okay, so I'm going to basically accumulate some soil and I'm going to steal it from this area here. So, and then this will run out through here. This was all the grass that was growing. But that's a valuable source of biomass right there. So I'm not going to disturb that. I'm simply going to sheet mulch it. I'm going to lay down some cardboard and I'm going to put more dried grass on top as a form of mulch. And then this garden will wrap and continue up that way. And that's a good thing. It's not really being used for anything in this area. So this little garden I've got out here, it's pretty much only a year old. Little perennial based system. And everything that's planted in this garden, well, 90% of the trees that were in this garden were grown from seed. So, it's doing some wonderful things. The year before that, I was just mainly growing vegetables, just in rows. And I was spending a lot of time basically building garden areas and extending this little system. So I basically just laid some timbers out in the shape that I want this garden to travel. And you're using timbers, it's a good thing to use just to give you an idea of how it's going to look when it's all done. So I think this little garden will actually work nice to create a natural wind block instead of having an artificial one there. So that's basically the line of it now. So all that in there has got to get treated and got to get turned into a garden. So let's get into it. I use this little tiller now to rip up all this soil. Because it's an area that I don't use, I can rip up as much as I want with this little tiller. You see, I've modified it. So it's more of a digging tool for me now. I've got control of it. So I'm helplessly running behind the thing, getting thrown around like a bloody bull rider. So I'm going to pull this soil up now, accumulate it, aerate it, and I'm going to push it back into that area there. So let's go.
little tiller just saved me a ton of work. Otherwise I would have had to have dug all this up by hand, which is pretty much what I was doing when I first started all of this out here. So that little tiller has been a good investment for me. So now I've simply just got to collect this soil with a shovel, put it where I want it. Basically ended up with a little garden there now, and I've used soil that I wasn't really using for anything, and that's probably good soil there because that's where the chickens used to live, so it should still have a lot of little nutrients and little goodies in there. So cardboard's down, and I went and got a load of grass from up the top, and I've spread it around as well. I've got to go and get another load of grass, so let's go and do that. You're probably wondering if I get any weeds that pop up by using this native grass I've got growing here. And the answer is yeah, I get a few. Because the benefit of me putting this grass and using it as mulch on that garden completely outweighs the small amount of weeds that I get in that garden. And without it, I wouldn't have a hope in hell of growing anything out there. So, don't think that weeds are your enemy. It's the last thing you can do. Weeds are a good thing out in the garden, and they're basically nature's way of healing any soil that's been left exposed or disturbed or has been compacted or acidified. And nature simply puts those little weeds there to protect that soil. It's quite clever. Just the same way that we repair ourselves when we take a bit of bark off us. Slowly turns into a little wound and heals up and it's good to go. So you've got to start thinking of weeds as, well, more of a friend, more of an ally. And because I don't compost here, the garden's too big for me to compost. So any little weeds that pop up in the garden, I simply pull them out and I lay them straight back down on that garden bed where they came up. And over time that accumulates organic matter. So weeds are your friend. And what I got now is a garden extension. It goes all the way through, and I'm very happy about that. I can start planting more shade trees in here now. Thicken this corner right up. It didn't take that long. Didn't cost me a cent. All the materials I used came off this property. And I think that's a good thing.